So the game I'm playing today is called Warning Forever. This is a top-down shoot-'em-up that essentially functions as a boss rush. Every single stage in this game is essentially a boss fight, where you have to destroy a gigantic ship, and the size of the bosses increase with each passing stage. Now, as the title would insinuate though, this game is endless. As far as my knowledge goes, there is no actual ending that you can achieve in this game, and the overall objective of the game is to just try and get the highest score possible. I mean, it's just another, very arcade-inspired sort of shoot-'em-up. But what I do find kind of interesting about this game in particular is that each boss in this game learns from the previous boss. And what I mean by that is, depending on how you defeat the bosses in this game, the next boss that you encounter will have a very specific design that essentially forces you to switch up your strategy. This game doesn't really take all too kindly to the player using the exact same strategy every single time. So every time you defeat a boss and move on to the next one, the next boss will have some sort of protection that will pretty much force you to adapt to a completely different strategy altogether. It's probably worth mentioning then that all of the bosses in this game are procedurally generated, which makes sense considering the game is infinite, and there's not really much else to it other than that. It's basically just a boss rush shoot-'em-up that never ends, and the only real objective is to see how far you can get into the game before you eventually perish. So this game was originally released as a freeware title all the way back in 2003, so this is actually a very old shoot-'em-up that I'm highlighting today. It was developed by a Japanese indie developer named Hickware, and Hickware is mostly known for creating a lot of these very hectic and frenetic shoot-'em-ups. They are kind of similar to ABA Games in that regard, ABA Games being another, Japanese indie dev whose games I've given a lot of coverage on the channel over the past few years. I only discovered Hickware's games fairly recently, and honestly, I'm surprised that I did not discover them sooner. Much like ABA Games, Hickware also has a collection of shoot-'em-ups that they have released over the past, 30 years, because apparently they've been making games since the early 90s, the majority of which were released for free. And part of the reason why I wanted to showcase this game today is because for a while now, I've been wanting to try and find another sort of very insane shoot-'em-up to cover on the channel, something that's very reminiscent of some of the games from ABA Games that I used to cover way back in 2015, 2016. You know, something very akin to the likes of R-Rootage or Tourist Trooper or even Parsec 47. Hickware seems to be another developer who creates a lot of these really crazy shoot-'em-ups, and this one in particular reminded me quite a bit of R-Rootage in particular. As a matter of fact, this game would have been released around the same time as R-Rootage, because both games came out in 2003. Now, I can tell you that I have already played this game for a little while off-screen, and I gotta say, this is a really well-made shoot-'em-up. I don't fully understand how the procedurally generated bosses work. The only thing I really know about them is that the actual appearance of the bosses themselves will change depending on how you've killed the previous boss. So for instance, if you manage to kill a boss by shooting it from the front, then the next boss may have additional armor on its front. Or if you killed it from the side or the back, then it may have additional armor on its side or back. Or if the previous boss managed to kill you with a laser, but you still managed to kill the boss regardless, then the next boss that you encounter might prefer to use lasers against you, or even rockets, because some of the bosses in this game can launch missiles at you as well. What's also really cool is that you can destroy individual pieces of the boss too. Although the main target that you're aiming for most of the time is the core of the boss. If you manage to destroy its core, then the boss will die instantly. It's a really neat little shoot-'em-up that I found here, and I'm really surprised that I did not discover this sooner. Anyway, words alone are not gonna do this game any justice, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna exit the options menu here, because if I just stayed on the title screen, it would have played a replay that it apparently saved automatically the last time I played this game. That is my score right there, by the way. 4.6 million, got all the way to stage 11 and I died 5 times. So we are going to start a brand new game here, and it drops you right into the game immediately, so we gotta get started right away here explaining stuff. So we have this first boss right here, the Pure Heart. So this boss right here is very simple, and you want to know why he's simple? Well, because he doesn't have any weapons, and he's also very weak, because look at that, he's already dead. Very nice. Okay, so the way that this game works is that normally you have a time limit of 3 minutes. Every time you defeat a boss in this game, there will be 30 seconds, I think it's 30 seconds, that get added to the timer. Every time you die, the timer decreases by 20 seconds. So basically, you need to survive for as long as possible without the time limit running out. Whenever you kill a boss, you get a little tally screen showing you how long it took you to actually kill the boss. In this case, it only took 9 seconds. It also shows you the time penalty that you received if you ended up dying. And for the record, you normally have infinite lives in the default game mode of this game. There are some other game modes that you can enable as well, but I'll talk about that later. Shows you the amount of base points, which I assume is the amount of points that you normally receive for killing the boss, I think. Rapid Destroy, which I apparently got no points for, and Chain Destroy, which I have no idea what that is, but I got 225k points in total. Right, so we're gonna hit any button to continue on here. So in order to fire, you need to press the Z key, and you can hold down the Z key in order to just continuously shoot. Oh yeah, by the way, this guy actually has laser beams, as you can see right here. The laser beams do not kill you instantly, because I think what he does is that he'll aim his laser beams at you, and then he'll actually fire them about a half second later. So it does give you time to move out of the way of the shot. Alternatively, you can also press the D key in order to switch to a different weapon. So, normally your ship only fires directly in front of itself, but if you want to rotate your weapon around, or essentially if you want to rotate your ship around, then you can press the D key to switch to an alternate weapon, which will allow you to fire in different directions. What's also interesting about the alternate weapon is that it has a green arc that appears on the screen, which effectively shows you where exactly your bullets are going to fly. And you can widen the arc by, I think, getting further away from the enemy, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, it kind of depends on how you orient your ship, and it's also worth noting that you cannot change the arc while you're firing, like you can't change the arc of your bullets while you're firing, but you can do that when you're just moving around. You can also use the arrow keys to move around freely in this game, and I guess I may as well show off what the alternate weapon looks like. So it's this weapon right here. And as you can see, this will actually allow me to fire in different directions. So if I just go around, I can actually change the, yeah, I can like change the shape of the arc. And as you can see, because my arc is much wider, my bullets are spreading a lot more. So I need to make sure not to get killed right here. So yeah, these bosses are gonna get a lot more, okay, well that was my fault because I wasn't even paying attention there. But it doesn't matter, he's done anyway, he's dead. He's down and out for the count. Okay, there we go. Okay, I did get a dead penalty right there. Yeah, so it basically shows you how many times you died during that boss encounter. Yeah, so as you can see, I can make the arc widen. I can also make it thinner as well. It seems like it gets thinner if I go out towards the edges of the screen, or like the corners. Yeah, and then if I move back like this, I can actually make it wider. Widening the arc does not necessarily make it easier to hit the boss though, because the bullets spread a lot more when the arc is wider. So that's not always a good thing, like not necessarily. What's also interesting is that moving around on the screen right here seems to have an effect on the background, which is kind of weird. You may notice that the grid in the background is actually tilting the more I go to the right. I don't know how I feel about that. That looks a little bit weird. I mean, it's a little eye-straining, in my opinion. Anyway, we're gonna go to the next boss. So, I also want to mention as well, yeah, the wider. I don't know if I've encountered this boss off-screen before. Oh my god, that's a lot of lasers, though. One thing I know for a fact is that there's a lot of laser beams on this guy. This guy really loves his lasers. There we go. Gotta destroy his wings. I really like the way that the explosions look in this game. Like, there's a lot of like really good sprite work that's been done in this game. I like it quite a bit. I appreciate it a lot. So I want to mention that this game does not have any power-ups whatsoever. It's not possible to obtain any power-ups at all. the only weapon at your disposal here is your default cannon, pretty much. So you basically just gotta work with what you've been given. And I'm guessing that the reason these are called widers is because I was using the arc before in order to kill some of the previous bosses. So maybe what's happening is that the ships are actually becoming wider because of that, I'm assuming. Again, all the bosses in this game are procedurally generated. Yeah, like what is this, the wide attacker? Okay, Vulcan laser cannon. Okay, I'm assuming that's the weapons that he has, though. Oh yeah, he's still got more lasers. Yeah, so I mentioned before that, like, if you die to a bunch of lasers in a previous boss, then the next boss that you encounter will prefer to use even more lasers. Oh god, almost ran directly into that. There we go. You'll also notice that the boss can rotate around on his own as well. And some of the later bosses in the game also have thrusters, which essentially allows them to move towards you and kind of like ram into you, essentially. So they do get a lot more deadly as the game goes on. Decapoded Wide Attacker. I don't know what that means, but okay. He's got a lot of weapons, that's what it means. Okay, this guy actually has missiles. Yeah, these are heat-seeking missiles. Gotta try and avoid them at all costs. He also has these cannons that fire, like, multiple bullets at a single time as well. And again, as with most of these, like, these very insane bullet hell shoot-em-ups, the only time that you ever die is when the bullets hit the center of your ship, pretty much. Like, there's a tiny pixel in the center of your ship that, when it gets hit by a bullet, only then will your ship actually get destroyed. I should probably use my alternate weapon here, because this guy is rotating a lot right now. There we go. Use the widener. Very nice. I'll just call it the widener for now, because, I mean, it allows me to fire bullets in a much wider arc. I think it makes sense. It makes sense to me, at least. Yeah, so basically all you're doing here is just trying to adapt your strategy based on the next, like, boss that you encounter, or the next boss that it gives you. I'm assuming that there are specific boss types that it can give you, depending on how you killed the previous boss, but yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this other than that, because, I mean, this is pretty much the entire game. Yeah, you can't destroy any of his own bullets, by the way. I just wanna mention that right now. I need to try not to, you know, die here, because I am gonna lose time on the timer as well. There is also a game mode here that allows you to set custom rules, basically. Like, it is possible to set the timer all the way up to 999 seconds, if you want to give yourself the most amount of time possible. You just saw right there, by the way, that the boss did actually use a thruster that time. I do believe if you get closer to the boss, you can riddle him with even more bullets and kill him a lot quicker that way. So, you definitely want to stay as close to the boss as physically possible, if you want to try and kill him a lot quicker. So what do we have here? The Wing Striker. Oh, this guy has a needle. Okay. So, yeah, I do believe if I run into the individual parts of the ship right here, that will also kill me too. Okay, well, if he thrusts out of the way, then that's good as well. See, the only issue here is that now there's parts of the boss that are not even on the screen anymore, so I can't actually hit him. I can destroy these missiles, I just can't destroy any of the other, like, projectiles that he's launching at me. Holy crap, dude. Yeah, it'd probably be a lot easier to just get rid of, like, the individual parts first. Hang on a second, let me widen my arc just a little bit here. Oh, that's interesting, he actually, like, opened up the front part. Apparently he can actually move, like, individual pieces of his ship as well. I did not know that they could do that. Yeah, see, he's trying to thrust into me. That's a very weird statement, but whatever, you know what I'm trying to say? Oh god, okay, hang on a second. I gotta go around. Gotta go around here for a minute. Oh my god. I need to, like, actually try and move and freaking pay attention, but my stupid ADHD brain's not letting me do that right now. Okay, here we go. Blow this massive piece off of him right here, if I can. Okay, this is weird. Okay, this is weird. Okay, well, I mean, it still got destroyed either way, so that's more or less what I wanted to try and do to him. Yeah, if he starts flashing like that, then that means he's about to die. Here we go. Yeah, there's only his core that's remaining right now. Okay, hang on a second. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? There we go. Try and get in front of him and just destroy the rest of him like that. There we go. That took way too long, but whatever. He's dead anyway. Damn, I got a chain destroy of 32 with 340,000 points? Nice. Okay, continuing on, what's the next boss here? I managed to make it up to stage 11 before, Pentaforced Wing Striker. So I do remember what the boss of stage 11 was called, the one that I encountered off screen. It was called the Phoenix. And if I'm able to make it back to stage 11 again, I want to see if I will actually encounter the Phoenix again. Because there's a good chance that I may encounter a different boss, but then of course I had to run right into all the lasers. Oh my god, what am I doing right now? What are we doing here? What are we doing here, boys and girls? Oh, good lord. Oh, good god. Okay. So I think... My god, I am just not even paying attention anymore. So I do believe that the Pure Heart, which is the boss that we... My god, okay, fine, just stay in the center. I'm probably gonna die anyway. Well, the Pure Heart is the boss that we always encounter at the very beginning of stage 1, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think the first boss ever changes, because I mean, it's not possible that you would have been able to do anything to him before you even started the game, so I mean, it makes sense that the first boss would always be the same every single time. Like, is it the Pure Heart again? Yeah, it is. Yeah, so essentially, depending on how I kill this guy, I can get the next boss to look like something different, or I can get the game to spawn the next boss, or like a different kind of boss for the next stage, essentially. And I mean, other than that, that's pretty much what this entire game is, guys. Octa-beamed Pure Heart. Okay, so I'm curious. Can I pause this and like escape? Well, I mean, I don't... Actually, hang on a second. I'm gonna do this instead. This is the Octa-beamed Pure Heart, right? Well, I mean, what does escape do? Yeah, that's what I figured. It closed the game. Okay, whatever. Not a problem. I just want to try and, like, test something out here very quickly. Yeah, the Pure Heart. Okay, so we got Octa-beamed Pure Heart before. What if we try using a widener on this guy right here? And see, like, how exactly it'll change, like, the next stage. Like, let's try doing this. And let's also try and kill him from the side. There we go. So we got Octa-beam Pure Heart before, right? So what exactly are we gonna get now in the second stage? We have... No, we actually still have the Octa-beam Pure Heart. Oh, okay. Well, I mean... I know for a fact that it does... The bosses basically adapt to your own strategy here, which effectively forces you to switch up your strategy every single time you encounter a brand new boss, but... Again, I'm not entirely sure, like, how exactly this works, though. Like, is this even what I encountered before in the third stage? Doesn't really look like it. Wow, I just destroyed that, like, instantly. Oh, god. No. I mean, one other thing I could try later on is that I could try and get killed by the first boss again with the laser, and then try to kill him just to see if maybe that would change the second stage. I don't know. We'll try that later. We'll try that later, perhaps. For now, though, I think I'm just going to try and defeat most of these bosses normally. Again, I can just try and do some damage to the core itself. Like, right here, I can try and take it out from the back to see if that does anything to it. Like, I mean, see if it changes the next stage in any capacity. Wide attacker? I'm pretty sure we already saw that, though. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how exactly this works. And I mean, other than that, guys, that's basically the entire game, because like I said, there's no other power-ups that you can pick up, no other weapons you can use, aside from, you know, the wide attack that you have, which you can switch to by pressing the D key. So, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this other than that, because that is essentially the entire game. And all of the custom game options that you can enable are pretty self-explanatory. Like, there's... Oh my god, okay, well, I should have seen that coming. Yeah, like, there's a sudden death mode in this game, where you only have one life, and you're not able to get any continues whatsoever. So it is possible to enable lives in this game if you want them. There's also like another mode that's basically like a full-on arcade mode where you have 3 lives, and if you earn enough points, then you can get additional lives that way. And of course, there's also the custom rule set, which you can enable yourself, or you can like change on your own, or like settings that you can effectively adjust in order to, you know, like cater to your own needs, basically. And because of that, I don't really think they're worth showing off, because at the end of the day, I'd still be playing the exact same game, just, you know, in a different sort of way, like just basically a different game mode. But other than that, I don't think there's really anything else that's different about it, like gameplay-wise. So I don't really think those modes are worth showing off in any capacity, so I don't think I'm actually going to bother showing them off, period. So I think what I'm gonna do is that maybe I'll try and do, like, a couple more runs of this, and then after that, I think I'm just going to end the video. I wasn't planning on having this video be, like, overly long anyway, because there's really no point to doing, like, like an hour-long video on a game this simple. So, with that being said, I think I will actually be ending this video off fairly soon, but, I mean, I definitely enjoy this game for what it is. It reminds me a lot of our Rootage. It's basically another, like, boss rush shoot 'em up, which is exactly what our Rootage was. I'm not paying attention again. Hang on a second, what am I doing? Oh god, there's a lot of laser beams right here. I mean, can I get him to have more lasers on him if I manage to get killed by some of these lasers? Or what about those shots where he fires, like, multiple bullets at once? Like those purple bullets right there. Like, can I get him to have more cannons that fire those things, or those projectiles, perhaps? Yeah, like those ones over there. Oh, jeez. Oh my god! Well, I don't know how I was supposed to avoid that. He was firing a laser at me, and then he decided to... He sabotaged me with the scatter shot cannons. Like, god, what was I even supposed to do there? Doesn't matter anyway, he's dead. Does not matter. I don't know if this is really worth mentioning at the moment, but I do actually want to try and showcase more of Hickware's games, because there's a couple of other shoot-em-ups from Hickware that I would like to try and do videos on eventually. Because Hickware has also worked on some other projects that I think are pretty damn neat as well. There's another shoot-em-up that he released a little bit more recently than Warning Forever, called Cyclops. Cyclops was a game that Hickware started working on in 2007, and he finished, or they, because I don't know if they're male or female, but they finished development on Cyclops around 2011. And Cyclops looks pretty interesting. I haven't actually played the game myself, but it seems like, from the looks of it, your ship is placed in the center. Oh, we're encountering the Phoenix on stage 10. Last time I encountered him on stage 11. Okay, interesting. So he can appear in earlier stages. Okay, well this is in fact the Phoenix, so, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this in particular. Oh, good god. Oh, wow, how am I still alive? Okay, yes, move your leg out of the way, please, so I can pass by. Thank you very much. Ow. Okay, never mind, I'm still being a dum-dum. Still being a doofus again, like I normally am in these games. Oh, good lord. Yeah, so Cyclops looks interesting. It kind of seems like your ship is placed at the center, and there are enemies that are coming at you from the sides of the screen, or like the corners, and you have to like defend the center. It looks really interesting, and I would like to try and do a game on it, I'd like to try and do a video on it eventually. And there's another game that he made, or they made, called Greyhound, which, you're basically like a giant square that can fire rays of light, or basically laser beams. And it looks insane as well, so I'd like to possibly do a video on that sometime as well, or like sometime in the future. Probably not gonna do that like immediately after I finish playing Warning Forever, because as you guys know, I usually like to have a little bit of variety on the channel. Okay, we have Hexa-Forced Phoenix. What the hell is this gonna look like? What is this? Oh god. Oh dear lord. Okay, it's just like a giant mech. It's basically a massive mech. Okay, well let's see here. I don't know if I'm even gonna have enough time to defeat this guy. I may not have time. The only time I ever get additional time, that's a well-constructed sentence, is whenever I defeat enemies. Oh god, okay, yeah, I can't maneuver into the actual pieces of his ship as well. I can't actually do that. Oh, I think those are the needle lasers that he's firing at me. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm not gonna have enough time to destroy this guy. But, yeah, like, Hickware has made a lot of other, like, really cool shoot-em-ups that I would like to try and cover eventually, like, sometime in the near future. But not right now, though, because, you know, I'd like to have some variety on the channel, but maybe sometime in August? Like, I could try to play Cyclops sometime in August, and maybe Greyhound in September. You know, just to, like, try and space them out, because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to, like, spam videos of only Hickware's games, or, like, games from just one specific indie developer. So, I would like to try and space them out a little bit here, but I would like to try something out. So, hit me with the laser, please. Excuse me, hit me with the laser. There we go. So now I'm gonna try and destroy you and see how exactly that's affected you. or that's, like, affected the next boss, are we still gonna get, like, the other, like, Pure Heart or Octo Tank or whatever the hell it was called? We have Tetra Beam Pure Heart. Okay, so I think we had Octo Beam Pure Heart before, or whatever the heck. So he did change. He did change very slightly. Okay, so then in that case, I want to restart again and just kill him normally this time. So we had Tetra Beam Pure Heart. So what are we gonna get if we just kill him normally? I just want to test this out because I'm really curious as to how exactly the procedural generation on these bosses work. Maybe they're not procedurally generated necessarily, but depending on how you kill the first boss, then the second boss, like the game will choose a very specific type of boss to be the second stage. Because now we have Octobeam Pure Heart. So it seems like if we just kill him normally, then he becomes Octobeam. But I guess if we end up dying to him a couple of times, then he becomes Tetra Beam. So I guess he becomes like basically the game provides us with an easier version of the boss because of the fact that we died a couple of times to the first one. I'm not really sure. I don't know how exactly this works. All I know is that the game understands how exactly you killed the first boss, and it uses that information to generate the next boss after that. That's all I really know regarding this game, so it's like the bosses adapt to your strategies. That's the only takeaway I can get from this, or that I've been able to get from this so far. Other than that, I have no clue what the hell's happening right now. Right, so I think other than that, guys, I am actually going to just end the video here because, oh my god, there's a lot of lasers. Yeah, so I mean, I don't really know what else to say about Warning Forever other than that. Well, actually, hang on a second. Before I do end the video off for real, there is actually something interesting that I did discover about this game when I was doing research on it. So, I actually discovered this game by accident, because I wasn't trying to look for this game necessarily. Like, I wasn't looking specifically for this game when I initially stumbled across it, because I was actually trying to do a bit of research on Captain Forever. And some of you might recall that I did a video on Captain Forever Trilogy back in 2018, which was basically like a remastered version of the first 3 Captain Forever games, that being Captain Forever, Captain Successor, and Captain Imposter. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because I discovered, because there was another Captain Forever game that I was trying to look for that I wanted to try and do a video on called Captain Phyraxian, which was basically like a 2-dimensional demake, like a pixelated demake, of Captain Forever. But instead of playing like Captain Forever, it played a lot more like 1942, according to Farbs himself, Farbs being the creator of the Captain Forever series. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do a video on Captain Phyraxian because I was able to find the game, but it turns out that the game was made in Flash, and as you guys probably already know, most modern-day internet browsers no longer support Flash, which means I can't actually play that game anymore. But something interesting that I discovered when I was doing research on Captain Forever itself is that Captain Forever was inspired by another game called Battleships Forever, which was originally released in 2007, and it did apparently receive some attention from, I think, IGF. And from there, I learned that Battleships Forever was itself inspired by Warning Forever. So, what exactly am I trying to say here? Well, essentially what I'm trying to say is that this game is essentially Captain Forever's ancestor. And I also noticed that it actually looks a lot like Captain Forever as well, because everything kind of looks like it's made out of neon, essentially. Like, all the different parts of the spaceships right here that you're battling, they look almost exactly like the kind of ships you would find in Captain Forever. It has a very similar art style. And even though Captain Forever was not directly inspired by Warning Forever itself, it was inspired by another shoot-'em-up that just so happened to take inspiration from this game. So I kind of feel like, had it not been for the existence of Warning Forever, not to mention the game's very similar title, I feel as if Captain Forever probably wouldn't exist had it not been for this game. So, yeah, what you're essentially looking at here is like Captain Forever's ancestor, essentially. Like, the game that pretty much inspired it, or like, maybe indirectly inspired it. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting, and I wasn't sure if Warning Forever was a very well-known game, but it turns out that it kind of is, at least in Japan, it seems. I did manage to find a Wikipedia article for Warning Forever, and from the Wikipedia article, I also discovered that there were some mainstream gaming outlets that did publish some articles about this game, like way back when it first came out, or like sometime after it came out. And some of those gaming outlets include Rock Paper Shotgun, Eurogamer, 1UP, back when 1UP still existed, and even IGN. Apparently, IGN published an article about Warning Forever back in 2012. Apparently, IGN used to do this series a long time ago where they were highlighting a bunch of freeware games, and Warning Forever was one of the games that they highlighted back when they were still doing that series. So, I guess Warning Forever is kind of well known then? But to what extent, I am completely unsure of, because it kind of seems like the wider gaming world doesn't really know that this game exists. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how popular this game actually was, but it was popular enough to receive a Wikipedia article, and, I mean, some articles by some of the biggest and most well-renowned games journalism outlets, so, I mean, it must have had, like, some sort of success, or it had to have obtained some sort of success or recognition outside of Japan. I don't really know. But it does seem like Warning Forever was at least popular enough to inspire some games of its own, including Battleships Forever, and Battleships Forever itself went on to inspire Captain Forever. And I mean, this game has a fairly similar art style to Captain Forever. So, there you go. Yeah, just some interesting trivia that I discovered about this game when I was doing research on it. I kinda ended up falling down a little bit of a rabbit hole in that regard, but the end result was that I did end up discovering a pretty well-crafted indie shoot-'em-up, not to mention a couple of other really interesting-looking shoot-'em-ups as well, because I do eventually want to do videos on Cyclops and Rayhound too, but yeah, other than that, I don't really know what else to say about Warning Forever. So with all of that out of the way, I think I'm actually just going to end the video here then. I mean, even the fact that you can blow off individual pieces of the bosses as well is also very reminiscent of Captain Forever to me. Like, all the ships in Captain Forever are made out of individual parts too, and each individual part, like each individual segment, you can destroy. I mean, this game doesn't allow you to build your own ship out of those parts. Like, it's not like you can blow off different sections of the boss and then, like, attach them to your own ship. Doesn't work like that. But still, like, the art style and the gameplay to some degree, yeah, I can definitely see how this could have inspired Captain Forever, for absolute sure. Like, even the grid-based background is also very reminiscent of that game. So my assumption then is that Battleships Forever must have also had a very similar art style to this, which in turn led to Captain Forever being created. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know what else to say about this game. I mean, it's a very simple, but still very, very fun, surprisingly addicting shoot-'em-up that you could probably play for like hours on end. It certainly feels like one of those just one more round kinds of games. It's kind of like a combination of R-Rootage and Captain Forever. That's the best way I can describe it. It's basically a boss rush shoot-'em-up where you just fight a whole bunch of bosses in rapid succession, and the game doesn't end as far as I know, and the bosses just keep getting harder and harder. But yeah, I really like this game. It is very fun to play, despite being relatively simple, because no power-ups and only like 2 different weapons. The visual fidelity in this game is a lot higher than I expected it to be. I really love the sprite work on the explosions in particular. The fact that each boss learns from the mistakes of the previous boss is also kind of interesting. Depending on how you go about killing the bosses, it will actually influence what sort of boss you encounter in the next stage, which I think is kind of neat. And yeah, overall, it's just a really good shoot-'em-up. It's a really well-made shoot-'em-up, especially for like one single indie developer in Japan. If you're at all a fan of shoot-'em-ups, then I highly implore you to go check this game out, because it's great. I love it. If you want to download the game, the link is in the description. And I do want to reiterate as well that this game is completely free. It was originally released as freeware. And Hickware's website, despite being relatively old now, is still online even to this day. And the download links for this game and also some of his other games, they do still work. I'm actually quite surprised at the fact that they all still work, even to this day. And what's also interesting is that you can download older versions of Warning Forever as well. It is possible to download some of the previous versions of the game from Hickware's website as well. In fact, I think every public version of this game that's ever been released is available for download from Hickware's website. So, if you're more curious about the development history of this game, then I guess you have that option too, if you want to go and check out some of the earlier development builds of this game. And with all that said and done, I guess I'm just going to end the video here, because, yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. I mean, Warning Forever. It's a very simple shoot 'em up, but I feel like that simplicity works very much in its favor. Not only that, but if it wasn't for this game, then there's a possibility that Captain Forever probably wouldn't exist, because it never would have gone on to inspire Battleships Forever, which is what directly inspired Captain Forever. So, if you're looking for the real person to be thanking for Captain Forever's existence, you should probably be thanking Hickware. Anyway, that's about all I have to say, so whatever, just go play Warning Forever. It's a really good shoot 'em up. And you can expect some videos of Hickware's other games to come in the near future, including Cyclops and Rayhound and all of that good stuff, so yeah. Anyway guys, thanks as always for watching, and I will see you in the next video I make. Later!